everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jenny Sayu. This is Ladies of Justice Wellness Wednesday. We appreciate you for tuning in. If you're a repeated listener or viewer, we thank you for your support. We thank you for tuning in and supporting all the fabulous women that have been sharing their stories, their businesses, their ideas, their nonprofit organizations. But a little bit of LOJ Wellness Wednesday. This came out prior to COVID, where we started featuring women every week. And it's winning with wealth with women here on Wellness Wednesday. That's what it's all about. And it's grown into this incredible platform that is great because of, again, all the testimonies that have been shared. So I'm going to get right into it. If you are joining us for the first time, please message the person who invited you to listen to the replay, listen to here live, and they can share with you share with them your name, your email, your phone number. We could get you on the mailing list to keep you up to date with a lot of the events that we're having weekly and hope to have here. I know it's going to have to be smaller, but like luncheons and coffee meetups as restrictions lift. I know it might feel far from that, but we're believing for the best. And so we definitely want to put you in a raffle and on that mailing address list. So let me share our mission and core values before I introduce our guest speaker today. I'm excited about what she has to share, but Ladies of Justice mission statement is to help improve lives with our services and to provide women the opportunity and the environment to build their belief and confidence, to step into their greatness and power, and to control their lives, create choices, and to live a purposeful life. And this platform is just particularly at Wellness Wednesday, is featuring women that are succeeding, whether it's just an idea or a hobby turned into a business, a nonprofit, or if it's a thriving business. We want to hear and glean and learn from not just the business or that idea, but just the heart behind their passion in that. And to share that, our Ladies of Justice core values are to discover your worth, take ownership, build an inclusive and diverse community, elevate women as we climb to create wealth and legacy, owning our seat at the table, and integrating family as we do that. Now, every woman that we do feature here Wellness Wednesday might not be affiliated with Legal Shield and Ladies of Justice at all, other than just having a passion for our core values and our mission statement. And they have met someone through our network of other Ladies of Justice, and I get the privilege of getting to chat with them, or I get to headhunt them, like how I did with Jessy here in a little bit. But before I introduce her, I've only known her literally hours, I think. But I've been trying to find just a great value-based local jewelry making company, and Jessy came over my feed in Instagram of all places, and I reached out to her, and we're like 1 or 2 degrees of separation of knowing, I think, because we've participated in some of the same faith-based organizations, and I just loved her posts, and I just leaped into it, reached out to her, and she was more than happy to kind of share how she got into all of this. And so I'm gonna get out of the way and introduce her. She's gonna go on for about 10-15 minutes and just share about what she does, and then how she got into that, why she loves it, and really how it's turned into this again, hobby turned into a business that now, years later, she just still enjoys loving and innovating and creating. We like to feature women here because you never know who might see this. This will forever be on the internet and hear your story, Jessy. So I'm gonna get out of the way. Here is Jessy, and she's gonna share about her business, her passion, and her dream of where this has really led her to become. So I'm gonna get out of the way, mute myself out, and you can take it away.
Well, thank you, Jenny, for having me. This is something I've never done before, but I'm really excited to be part of. And yeah, thank you so much for reaching out to me and thinking of me. I'm really excited to talk today. So a little bit about me. My name is Jessy. I'm 24. I'm born and raised in Honolulu, Hawaii. Excluding the 2 years I lived on Molokai as like a baby, but I don't really count that usually. I'm a middle school teacher at a local public school. And I love all things art, nature, the ocean, just really hands-on things, which is kind of what is part of my jewelry making story. Just having like a passion for life and being involved in little activities here and there. Um, I guess I'll start with my jewelry story first, and then I'll get into um, the meaning of it to me, and then I'll shift more into my latest project, which kind of links with sustainability. Okay, so this is all just things I know from my experience, my perspective, and yeah, I'm really excited to share. Okay, so I make jewelry. My small business, I have a little Etsy shop. It's called Lily Koi Beach Designs, and I have a Instagram account, which is how I met Jenny. So if you type in Lily Koi Beach Designs, you should be able to find me, and that's me. So I always, as I was saying, I always loved art, um, and so I think in 2012, about I was a sophomore in high school, and I was noticing like, oh, this like people are starting to make jewelry. It's getting kind of trendy, and so me being the person I am, like, whoa, I kind of want to try that for myself. Like, so I would just buy wire, um, and just like with birthday money, Christmas money. Loved going to the beach, so I already had some shells. My dad, like, he makes bowls. He's like a craftsman, so I would use his drill, and I'd just be tinkering around after like doing all my homework at night. And this would be like 2 a.m. But I'm like driven. I'm like, okay, I gotta get my homework done. After volleyball, get my homework, and then like make jewelry, and then wake up like 6 hours later. It was crazy, but it was the start of where I am today, and it's a huge passion for me. So I started making jewelry with shells, wire, glass, beads, like things like that. Um, and then I wanted to participate in our school's senior project. So my project was all about turning a hobby into a business because um, nobody in my family is really financially or business savvy. So I knew this would be like a stretch for me, a really big learning opportunity. Um, and so turning this hobby, this little fun pastime of mine, into something a little bigger was a big leap for me that I'm glad I took because it enabled me to just take it more seriously and to get things like a business license and things like that. For a 17-year-old, that was pretty thrilling. Um, so a great step. Um, and then I went away to college in Portland. Jewelry making got more like sporadic because you're just so busy doing things. But I would still take all of my supplies with me up and pack it away in my suitcase. And it weighed a lot because I would take like every shell and every bead and all of the pliers with me. But I would just find pockets of time to make things. I made some friends up in Oregon who liked what I was doing too, and so they still support me. It's really nice. But yeah, it wasn't very consistent. I would mostly just kind of be making jewelry during the summer times. But 2 years ago, I graduated from college and came home, started becoming a teacher. So that's where I kind of got a little more time to think and sit down of where do I want this to go. So I started just kind of noticing, or I guess, it's kind of, you can see it. When you look at other jewelry accounts from Hawaii, they all kind of have several things in common, and it's that we all love like gold, wire as a medium, and a lot of like shells or pearls. And I wanted to see if I could kind of branch from that and just try a different medium. So when I got home from college that summer in 2018, I started experimenting with polymer clay because I knew that was a trendy, fun medium that was big in like New Zealand and Australia, which are places I'm really interested in, and I love their artists there. So I was playing with clay, um, but then kind of just it took a turn as well after I started teaching an environmental unit. Um, to my 8th graders. So we have this unit called Global Citizenship, and it's all about what can we do as citizens? Like, what is our duty as citizens? What should we be doing to help serve our world, the people in it, and the environment? And so, I was a first year teacher, and I was kind of learning with them because these are not topics that I learned growing up in school. It was really like, hey, textbook, turn to this page, and we read like an old story, which is good. I liked it. That's why I became a teacher. But this was so much more hands-on and relevant, and I was finding articles that were written like only months ago, and really eye-opening. So I really began evaluating my life after learning things, because what we were learning together are things like, especially the plastic and trash unit. That's the one that really got me, because I hear a lot about climate change and things via like Instagram, even the internet has a lot of it, but plastic wasn't talked about as much, considering how big of a problem it is. So I just learned things like plastic itself is actually like literally toxic, takes hundreds of years to biodegrade, and even then you need like the right conditions, certain bacteria. It's crazy. Like the first straw you ever used still exists somewhere in some form, unless it was incinerated, turned into a crazy gas, and is somewhere in the atmosphere now. Or just how like diapers take like 400 years to biodegrade, every diaper. Um, it's crazy. Even when we don't see it, plastic is there. Something that my kids and I too had like, I guess, trouble grasping is that just because this plastic's breaking down smaller and smaller doesn't mean it's not there anymore. It's still there. Um, it's found in 9 out of 10 salt brands, like table salt. They've tested trace amounts of plastic in 9 out of 10 of these major salt brands. Plastics in the water in our recyclable water bottles that we buy. So those single-use ones that are number 2 plastic that you can recycle, there's still plastic in that water, and you're consuming it. It's in rainwater, in pristine forests where humans are not living. It's everywhere, and it disrupts our body systems. It can lead to things like cancer, and of course, we all know how it can hurt our marine animals. We've all seen those pictures of like the seabirds choking on plastic, or that one with the turtle who had the straw up its nose, which is really what got like Save the Turtles or something trending. But it's so much bigger than that. It's not just the turtles, it's us, since we're all connected. And I learned too that the worst plastics are PVC and styrofoam. So that was shocking. Those can really damage your system. So one takeaway, avoid PVC and styrofoam. So after learning all this, I started making personal changes immediately. One, because I really, I was shocked and scared after learning all of this for my health. And another thing too, since I was teaching this to my students, I wanted to, not just be that teacher who like talks and then walks away from the unit and moves on to the next one, but like to really put it into action. So I just started doing things like, as much as possible, avoiding single use. So this was all before like COVID things, and I know like things have changed now. And it's a little tougher to be supporting like small businesses like Auntie Uncle Plate Lunch places and not take single use things. But I would back then really just like avoid takeout, eat in the restaurant, just not go to places that have just those cups and lids and straws. Like if I got something like a smoothie from somewhere, I would like cross my fingers and be like, is it at least number 2 plastic? Is it at least recyclable? And usually it's not. So I'd be like, okay, don't come here too often. I would start buying bamboo straws. And my sister the other day tried to make her own. She got a cut from slicing it, but that's another story. So bamboo straws, bar soap, getting away from like those massive ones, even though it's a good deal, at Costco, trying to buy bar soap. Because it's just, I don't know, it even works better to me. Like it's sudzier and all that. bamboo toothbrushes, changing over to safety razors, thrifting more, avoiding polyester, shopping small and local, avoiding fast fashion as well. So I noticed that often big companies that hurt the environment often don't usually or don't often treat all of their workers fairly. So that's kind of tied together too, like workers' rights and environmental things too. But just the whole idea of being informed and ready to adapt. And this also helped me to change the way I do my businesses. So even though I'm a really, really tiny business, I wanted to make sure that I do little changes, like instead of using plastic packaging tape, to use things like this biodegradable plant-based tape or recycled mailers, reusing bubble wrap, and just encouraging and talking about things like Plastic-Free July. So this year, I started making microplastic earrings, and I'm wearing them now. They look like this. I'll lean in a little. So what I did is I put them, I go to the beach, and here's my container. This is like a Zippy's container that I'm reusing. But this is some bits of microplastic that I pick up at the beach. I go with like my friends or whatever. Sometimes they help me, sometimes they go swim, but I'm on the shore in the sand picking up all these pieces of plastic. And some are like, big pieces. Some are really, really small. So I use like my sifter. But I'm over there at the beach picking up plastic in the sand. I go home and wash it. And then I go ahead and put them in my resin, put them in my molds. They dry in like a day or two. But the whole intention behind that is for the earring not to like save the world, because I know this is not like, it's not like round of applause, you did it, Jessy. It's like a conversation starter. So just like when I wear it, people might be like, oh, what is that? And then I get to use that to segue to talk about plastic and the environment and why everything should matter and why you should care. Because the whole thing is, if to care about this whole issue about the environment and plastic is to care about the future. It's to care about just God's beautiful creation and to protect it. It's to care about our kids and what the world's going to be like in the future. Because there's all these facts I could get into, but it's a really big problem, and it's not slowing down. But it's it's a lesson in sustainability. We have this linear consumption where we buy, use, toss, buy, use, toss, buy, use, toss. But this is a little different in that I'm trying to take from that toss pile and then create something with it. So that's why I call it like upcycling, bringing value to something that was trash. Oh yeah, and I wanted to show you this too. These are some toys I even found in the sand. Can you recognize them? They were like at the beach. I think I was at Kaimana Beach in Kailua. This is a little army man toy, and this is a Lego. So just evidence of how even things that we didn't intend to be trash, maybe, we just consume so quickly that it eventually just gets, I don't know, it lasts longer than we think it does in places we didn't intend. So I don't know, even like your kids' toys, I guess. That's tough, but showing that. But then the second lesson, these earrings, is that hope, that there is beauty in everything, that there is purpose in something, that trash can become pretty, that trash has just another potential to be something else, which I think is kind of connects to us as people, like the whole redemption thing, which I kind of like, connecting to. But yeah, so for me, this whole thing about making and the environment, on a spiritual note, it just matters to me in that I get to kind of creating something and bringing life to something. This whole redemption thing kind of helped me in my personal journey with God, and just kind of realizing God's love for me. As a creator, it's just so intimate. There's this love inside of this making process. So I have like at the bottom of my Etsy shop and stuff, how everything, do everything in love. And so that's been like a big thing for me. And that's the whole thing behind the plastic thing. Like when I encourage people to do Plastic-Free July, it's not like, a guilt thing, or like you used to do you used to get straws every week, so you need to atone for those. Like, it's not that. It's like, let's be better, um, it's not like that at all. It's just challenging yourself to be better, for yourself, for the world, and for your future. So yeah, if there are any takeaways from this, I just like I encourage people to make art, whatever it is. I think art is healing, and it just is so expressive and fun. You don't even have to be good. Like when I paint, sometimes I don't show anybody because it's not great, but it's so fun. It's so healing. And then just with the whole plastic and environmental thing, just to reflect and pray, maybe be mindful and open to change. Again, it's not like a guilt trip. It's just about being better tomorrow and making these small changes. Because the reality is this is like a whole world problem. We need systems to change. So we're responsible for ourselves. So the whole thing is to say like self, today we're not going to use any single use plastic, and we're going to do this or whatever. But okay, sorry, I know my time is I pushed it. I didn't think I could do it, but I just want to end by just saying hope and peace and blessings to everybody. Just God bless you all. Thank you so much for listening to me, and thank you, Jenny, for giving me this platform to talk. This is so fun. So thank you, Jenny.
Thank you. I learned a lot. Like, I'm not a mom yet, but I didn't even know about the whole diaper thing. I didn't know about the whole, like straws. The other day, or actually maybe a couple months ago, we live in town, so close to Queens, but there's a lot of like side street action that happens by us. And the other day, there were these box of straws just in the middle of the road, like must have fallen off of a truck, and it was just laying there. And for me, I was like, I should see if they're plastic or biodegradable, because either way, I went and like picked them up to throw them away. But I'm like, I want to see if there's a use of them for some way, because where I get my coffee, I even though nothing against Starbucks or whatnot, but I prefer going local, and I make sure I too kind of like ask like, what are you guys straws made out of? Or like, I love like the plant based straws and the plant based like faux plastic things that they do, and people need to realize like the effect of what something in a landfill does in a couple hundred years, like especially us living on an island, like where our trash goes and how long it stays there, and eventually is there going to be still room for that trash, and how that affects our environment. And so it's all about education, and that's why we love learning on here at Wellness Wednesday. Is wellness is not just about what we put into our bodies, but what we as human beings are affecting the world in globally. So that's why I was so passionate about finding such a great jewelry maker. So thank you, Jessy. Because it's more of just, jewelry is more of just beauty, but there's again that purpose and passion behind it. So thank you. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in. If you want to learn more about Ladies of Justice by Legal Shield or our Legal Shield services, tune in. We have other Zooms that are happening on HawaiiLSZoom.com, but to find out that schedule, let the person who invited you on this call to learn more about, again, a product or service that can help your family or business in growing or protecting and empowering yourselves, especially in a time like this where we don't know what's happening. Like I just posted recently, a member of ours who, they were having some issues with a travel company not refunding them their frequent flyer miles, and because of a trip that had to be canceled because of COVID. And then one letter from the law firm was able to get their frequent flyer miles back. And so it's just the empower of not being frivolous, but knowing based on principle to be treated right by bigger corporations, big companies, and whatnot. So again, to learn more about Legal Shield, ID Shield, or even the opportunity with Ladies of Justice, get with the person who invited you on this call, and they can get you a lot more details. But strictly for Wellness Wednesday, we all are just featuring women every week about how they win in wealth and well-being, really, with us here on Wellness Wednesday. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We will be on the replay. I know on Facebook, our private page, we post an audio version of this, but it also is available on Instagram, on my Instagram, which is just_Jenny Lee, and on YouTube. So look up Emson and Jenny Sayud. I think it's under Jenny and Emson Sayud. Or you can follow Jessy. Jessy, if you want to put down or say your Instagram handle and Etsy page for the audio, that would be awesome.
Oh, okay, sure. So my Instagram is at lilikoi_beach_designs. And then my Etsy shop is Lilikoi Beach Designs, all bunched together with no underscores.
Fantastic, guys. And I don't know if this is, I'm just throwing this out there, but if someone was interested in sending you reusable plastics that they found on their beach, whether that was on the East Coast or whether that was on a lake, would they be able to do that? And how would they be able to get a hold of you? Would Instagram be the best way?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I guess DMing me on Instagram. Yeah, thanks. Never thought of that.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We're gonna chime in next week. I already have our speakers for next week, and they're gonna be chatting about accountability when it comes to your business, when it comes to committing to a goal. So tune in next week, Wednesday, 11 o'clock Hawaii time, and we're gonna discuss about being accountable to the goals that we've set in our lives, not just to ourselves, but to someone who's gonna help push us through that. With that said, aloha. My name's Jessy. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week on Wellness Wednesday. Bye.